Chapter 616, Repairing Dang Hun Mountain. Master, you are finally back. Little Hu Immortal was already waiting before the Stargate, and when Fang Yuan appeared, she immediately jumped towards him and hugged his leg, rubbing it with her cute, rosy cheeks. Hee, you have worked hard during these days when I was not here. Fang Yuan smiled warmly and lightly stroked Little Hu Immortal's head. Little Hu Immortal's fox ears shivered slightly. A blissful expression appeared on her face, and her snow-white tail started shaking lightly behind her. This is a land spirit? So this is a blessed land. Tai Bai Yunxing stepped out of the Stargate closely after Fang Yuan, and was startled at seeing Little Hu Immortal. He had heard Little Hu Immortal addressing Fang Yuan as master. Fang Yuan was only a mortal, but he already possessed a blessed land. In history, there were some people who had such fortune. The most famous one was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. He had luckily inherited Imperial Court blessed land when he was still just a mortal. And in his later cultivation journey, Imperial Court blessed land was of huge assistance. Haha, this blessed land's name is Hu Immortal Blessed Land. I seized it forcibly from several sects of Central Continent, under Master's order. Fang Yuan proudly replied. Tai Bai Yunsheng's gaze immediately changed. There was a difference between immortal and mortal, but right now, he was looking at Fang Yuan as an equal, asking, I would assume that the process of snatching this blessed land was very dangerous, right? Naturally, even now when I think of it, I still have some lingering fear. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. But in the end, winner takes all. Everything is just that simple. I obtained the blessed land, becoming the final winner. The greater the risk, the greater the profits. Tai Bai Yunsheng nodded, sighing inwardly. This profit is simply too immense. A blessed land with a land spirit was the immortal aperture of a fallen Gu Immortal. Possessing such a blessed land was akin to inheriting the Gu Immortal's immortal aperture and cultivation resources. Simultaneously, the impression of Fang Yuan's audacious nature deepened by another level in Tai Bai Yunsheng's mind. Master, who is he? His aura is strong. Little Hu Immortal sensed Tai Bai Yunsheng brimming with Gu Immortal aura. She could not help but be tense, gripping on Fang Yuan's pants, appearing somewhat nervous and on guard. Relax, he is on our side, and is here to help us save Dang Hun Mountain. Fang Yuan comforted Little Hu Immortal. Take us to Dang Hun Mountain. Little Hu Immortal's eyes brightened upon hearing this. She trusted her master's words unconditionally. She immediately let down her guard and disappeared on the spot, taking Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng with her. The next moment, Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng were teleported to the center of the blessed land, the location of Dang Hun Mountain. Dang Hun Mountain had already been deformed completely from the corrosion of gruel mud. Only a small mound remained of the lofty Dang Hun Mountain. Dang Hun Palace, which was on Dang Hun Mountain previously, had naturally been destroyed. Master, if you arrived any later, you would not have been able to see Dang Hun Mountain. Little Hu Immortal said with a sorrowful voice. Fang Yuan lightly petted her head, then looked towards Tai Bai Yunsheng. Tai Bai Yunsheng was a smart man, and from this scene, along with Fang Yuan's previous words, he could guess Fang Yuan's intention in bringing him here. He nodded towards Fang Yuan, before taking out landscape as before Gu from his aperture. Immediately, the surging aura of an immortal Gu filled the surroundings. This is? Little Hu Immortal's bright eyes opened wide upon this first encounter with landscape as before Gu. Landscape as before Gu was like a ladybug. It was the size of a fist and had the color of green jade. Its round shell was engraved with natural patterns. Half of the patterns portrayed rivers and lakes that twisted and turned, flowing continuously, while the other half was of mountains and hills, precipitous and overlaid upon one another. Tai Bai Yunsheng gave a soft shout, a bead of green grape. Immortal essence turned into a stream of light that instantly poured into landscape as before Gu. The immortal Gu suddenly burst out with green jade light that soared to an extreme height, giving off a radiance that people could not look at intently. The light radiance covered the remaining Dang Hun Mountain. The corrosion of gruel mud on Dang Hun Mountain immediately paused under the illumination of the green light. Immortal Gu gruel mud's power was quickly neutralized and then vanquished. The green light gradually dimmed, Tai Bai Yunsheng then threw in another bead of green grape immortal essence. The green light brightened again, covering the devastated Dang Hun Mountain and continually cleansing it. The small mound-sized Dang Hun Mountain started to grow and strengthen at a visible speed under the radiance. Dang Hun Mountain is changing back. Little Hu Immortal clapped her little hands, prancing around happily, but the good scene did not last long. Dang Hun Mountain only recovered by 20% when the green light weakened again. Tai Bai Yunsheng's expression changed slightly. What kind of mountain is this? It actually exhausted a green grape immortal essence. He was able to create 36 green grape immortal essence beads in his ascension to Gu Immortal. But later, using movement, Gu crazily to dodge chaotic lightning balls expended 1 bead of immortal essence. Then in his own immortal aperture, to resist the heavenly tribulation and earthly calamity after the formation of immortal Gu, he had continuously activated landscape, as before Gu, to restore his aperture to its previous condition, spending 3 whole beads on it. Tai Bai Yunsheng had a clear understanding of how precious immortal essence was. Now he had just started to restore Dang Hun Mountain, but had used up 2 beads of immortal essence to at this rate. He would have to at least expend 5 to 6 beads of green grape immortal essence. Fang Yuan smiled. Dang Hun Mountain. Dang Hun Mountain? When Tai Bai Yunsheng heard the name, his expression underwent a great change. His eyes opened wide, and he spoke with a shocked tone. Could it be? It is indeed the one in The Legends of Rinzhu. How could there be another Dang Hun Mountain? Fang Yuan laughed. To think I would actually be able to see the legendary Dang Hun Mountain. This is the sacred land of soul path cultivators that spectral soul demon Venerable had praised endlessly. Tai Bai Yunsheng was extremely moved as he kept on exclaiming in admiration that it was the first time even for him to witness a thing of such legend. When he glanced at Fang Yuan, Tai Bai Yunsheng's gaze had another subtle change. He did not say anything else, but quietly used a 3rd bead of immortal essence to maintain the activation of landscape, as before Gu. This time, Dang Hun Mountain was restored to 40% before the green light dimmed. Tai Bai Yunsheng used a 4th bead, then a 5th bead, and finally a 6th bead before Dang Hun Mountain fully recovered. It is truly Dang Hun Mountain, requiring 6 whole beads of green grape immortal essence to recover completely. Tai Bai Yunsheng mumbled while looking at the tall mountain in front of him. Dang Hun Mountain was magnificently beautiful. Ordinary mountains could not even compare to it. It was a pink crystal mountain, emitting an unforgettably dreamy radiance. Master, Dang Hun Mountain's disease has been treated. Little Hu Immortal's eyes had turned red. Sob, sob, sob. She cried tears of joy, before lowering her head and using her delicate little hands to wipe the tears. Fang Yuan also let out a breath of turbid air when he gazed at Dang Hun Mountain. Now, the objective for infiltrating into northern plains was finally achieved. So many days and nights of effort, taking risks in the battlefields, disguising, racking his brains to scheme. They were all not in vain to at this moment. A soaring fire burned in Fang Yuan's heart. This burning fire had a name: ambition. Restoring Dang Hun Mountain could no longer satisfy his appetite. There were still opportunities left in Imperial Court Blessed Land. Especially now, Giant Sunzwell was expelled out of the tower. 88 True Yang Building had become akin to an ownerless object. Even if false emotion fake Gu was an immortal Gu and was difficult to capture, Fang Yuan had used his silver tongue to obtain Tai Bai Yunsheng's trust, succeeding in roping in the crucial battle power that could influence the situation. When the time comes, using a Gu Immortal's will. Forcefully refining false emotion fake Gu was not an impossible matter. Let's go back to Northern Plains. Fang Yuan came and left just as quickly, with Tai Bai Yunsheng in tow. Before leaving, he handed Burial Soul Toad to Little Hu Immortal. Burial Soul Toad was a storage Gu used to store souls. There were souls of humans and beasts, and they had mostly been gathered by Fang Yuan from the battlefields. These would turn into large numbers of guts Gu through Dang Hun Mountain. When they returned to 88 True Yang Building, the Starlight Firefly Gu supporting the Stargate were already spent by over half. Fang Yuan quickly stored what remained into his aperture that it was extremely difficult to accumulate Starlight Firefly Gu. The current amount could only support one more activation of the Stargate. We are back again. Tai Bai Yun Sheng was deeply moved. I end this trip. He had directly gone from Northern Plains to Central Continent, and back to Northern Plains from Central Continent. It was truly a travel disregarding distance. He felt like he was free to go anywhere in the world. Tai Bai Yun Sheng had only heard of whole earth goo and connecting heaven goo and methods that could allow one to connect between blessed lands and grotto heavens. He had never heard of the method Fang Yuan used. Probably only people like Six's junior brother are worthy of such mystical methods. Maybe this was imparted to him by Master. Tai Bai Yun Sheng trusted Fang Yuan even more after the trip to Hu immortal blessed land. Fang Yuan was only immortal at the moment, but he possessed a blessed land. This by itself was sufficient to prove many issues. Dang Hun Mountain's magnificent scene was even more deeply imprinted in Tai Bai Yun Sheng's mind. Seeing is believing. Tai Bai Yun Sheng had no choice but to believe it. Fang Yuan first revealed his true appearance, then used lifespan goo, revealing secret information to obtain Tai Bai Yun Sheng's trust. Fang Yuan had also resolved the doubt in Tai Bai Yun Sheng's heart. Why True Yang building had helped him endure the tribulation for no rhyme or reason. Fang Yuan's words and the evidence he showed to Tai Bai Yun Sheng were almost all true, except the lies at the crucial points. 9 truths and 1 lie. The lie would eventually become the truth, especially when this lie involved the deepest secret of Tai Bai Yun Sheng. Tai Bai Yun Sheng had never revealed it to outsiders while Fang Yuan knew it by soul-searching. Among all these, the true marvel lied in Fang Yuan grasping Tai Bai Yun Sheng's psychology completely. Tai Bai Yun Sheng had been feeling extreme guilt after betraying Gao Yang and Zhu Zai. He denied the value of his own existence. Under stimulation, he went through Gu immortal ascension and even charged towards tribulation, thinking of ending it all. But when he successfully passed the tribulation and became a Gu immortal, he stood at a whole new height, looking at a different scene. His mind came back to life, and after passing the tribulation with much difficulty, as well as getting his immortal aperture blessed land, he did not want to die anymore. That he wanted to make a fresh start, but he had an unresolved matter tugging his heart that he needed hope. He needed acknowledgement. Tai Bai Yun Sheng himself was not aware of this psychological need, but Fang Yuan was aware and gave him this acknowledgement. Fang Yuan's acknowledgement, in a certain way, represented his master's acknowledgement, and Tai Bai Yun Sheng respected his benefactor deeply. His master's acknowledgement made him feel there was value in him being alive. A mysterious force and a completely new environment attracted his interest. He had been at the peak of mortals and had experienced all that the mortal world could provide. But in the journey of immortals, he was a child that had just begun to move. The 15-year lifespan goo was in his pocket. He was no longer worried and guilty. He chose to believe Fang Yuan, not only because Fang Yuan explained everything and there were not many pieces of evidence he could contest, but even more importantly, in the very depths of his heart, he wanted to believe in Fang Yuan. Every single person who was cheated, was it because they were stupid? No, it was only because they wanted to believe in it from the depths of their heart. Here, your immortal goo. Tai Bai Yun Sheng tossed fixed immortal travel and flying bear phantom goo to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan nonchalantly accepted them. This casual attitude towards immortal goo caused another ripple in Tai Bai Yun Sheng's heart and trust. But he received a great shock when Fang Yuan brought out the glass owner token, as at the next moment, he appeared in another round. Tall and ancient trees were everywhere. Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng were within a dense forest. Roars and howls interlinked together. Giant trees pulled out their roots and stood up, turning into tall tree men. Within a few moments, Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng were surrounded by tree men one after another. Tai Bai Yun Sheng had a grim expression. One treeman was nothing to him, but the number of tree men here was extremely astonishing, and to completely exterminate them would require him to pay a significant price. But the next moment, Fang Yuan lightly waved his glass owner token, and this round immediately became under his control. The tree men stopped moving forward, their killing intent gone as if it was never there. While Tai Bai Yun Sheng was wearing a stupefied expression, Fang Yuan grabbed his arm and directly teleported in front of He Lu Lan and Ma Hong Yun. There was already an enormous change in the situation here. Frost Jade Peacock was half lying on the ground, with Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun turtling up under its wings. Surrounding it were layers after layers of treemen unfolding mad attacks. He Lulan was fighting nearby with false emotion fake, Gu resting on his shoulder. He blocked the attacks of the treemen while also launching attacks at Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun at the same time. But these attacks were blocked by the light barrier from Frost Jade Peacock before they could even reach their targets. Lord He Lulan, you are also being attacked by the treemen. Your situation is the same as ours. We have neither hatred nor grievance between us. Why must you try to kill us? Ma Hongyun shouted. He Lulan snorted. Didn't you hear what old ancestor said? Your girl is an otherworldly demon with a mysterious background and will be a cause of endless disasters. She must be eliminated. Who knows if she and the Changshan In impersonator are on the same side. Old ancestor was about to attack her just earlier, but suddenly disappeared due to some mishap. You have Giant Sun's bloodline. You are a person of Northern Plains. You are actually not able to distinguish right and wrong. You dare to shield an otherworldly demon. Ma Hongyun was furious and immediately retorted. She is not an otherworldly demon that you all claim. She is innocent. Lord He Lulan, don't waste your strength in vain. We have already received the land spirit's recognition. With the land spirit with us, you can't kill us. When Giant Sun's will was thrown out of the tower, this round did not have any controller and operated by itself. The treemen treated the land spirit, Ma Hongyun and others as challengers challenging the round. He Lulan wanted to kill Zhao Lianyun in place of Giant Sun's will. Ma Hongyun was ready to give up his life to save her, which strongly shook Zhao Lianyun's heart, and she started feeling true love for him, and Ma Hongyun had already treated Zhao Lianyun with earnest feelings. The two loved each other, and the land spirit acknowledged them as its masters by its own accord. That in this dangerous situation, the land spirit raised a defensive barrier around them, protecting them from the fatal attacks of the treemen, and He Lulan.as for Chong Li. She had already died miserably under the attacks of the treemen. Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng appeared on the crown of a treeman, observing the battle situation. Ma Hongyun, he actually obtained the land spirit's recognition. Humph, this kid's dog's hit luck is truly powerful. Fang Yuan mumbled with a complex expression. You know him? Tai Bai Yunsheng was somewhat astonished as he had not thought the Grand Fang Yuan would actually recognize this rank 3 initial stage minor character. It is you. He Lulan quickly sensed the distant Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunsheng. His eyes opened wide as he swiftly jumped back like he was facing a great enemy. His eyes twitched and his heart had already sunk. Giant Sun's will had suddenly disappeared, and the mysterious man impersonating Changshan In appeared with Gu Immortal Tai Bai Yunsheng standing beside him, and the two seemed to have a very close relation at that. This was extremely unfavorable to He Lulan. Ma Hongyun, however, did not sense anything. The defensive barrier raised by the land spirit was shrinking constantly as it was attacked by the innumerable treemen. His and Zhao Lianyun's sight were blocked by the dense amount of trees and leaves. What do we do now? Tai Bai Yunsheng asked calmly while casting a glance towards the gloomy He Lulan. Fang Yuan sneered. We need Imperial Court Blessed Land's land spirit, Frost Jade Peacock strength to topple True Yang building. Frost Jade Peacock might have already recognized its masters, but because Giant Sun's will is not present, the seals on it are not being manipulated and it is barely surviving. Most of its strength had already been sealed again. The defensive barrier is also on the brink of collapse and simply won't be able to block me. I will go kill Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. You go deal with He Lulan and seize the false emotion fake will Gu. I trust that it won't be a problem with your Gu immortal battle strength. Let's move, we don't have much time. Immortal and mortal are vastly different. It is just like a wide chasm separates them. You don't need to worry. Tai Bai Yunsheng lightly smiled, moving elegantly towards He Lulan. Fang Yuan directly shot forward towards Ma Hongyun. The surrounding treemen followed him under his control. Such a pity. Ma Hongyun, I originally wanted to use you as a key to control the events of the future. But who told you to block my way? No matter how good your luck is, your death is certain today. The brimming killing intent in his heart surfaced as a malevolent smile on Fang Yuan's face. Chapter 617. The Reason for Overwhelming Fortune. Bam, bam, bam. 3 10-meter-tall tree men raised their hammer-like fists as they attacked time and time again, crashing on the light barrier. Frost Jade Peacock cried out sorrowfully. Its huge wings were sealed by gold. Only the land spirit's head was still exposed. My masters, I cannot hold on anymore. The land spirit sighed, its long eyelashes trembling slightly. The light barrier was getting weaker, and under the treemen's endless attacks, it was on the brink of collapsing. What was more scary was, Fang Yuan was closing in. Imperial court-blessed land was already in bad shape, and the land spirit, Frost Jade Peacock, was sealed. The remaining strength of the barrier was not a problem for Fang Yuan. He could break through it any moment. The fatal threat had already arrived. But Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun still had no idea, even though they could not sense Fang Yuan. The thick aura of death was suffocating them. Zhao Lianyun was silent and did not speak. She hid in Ma Hongyun's arms as she shut her eyes. After all, she was an ordinary woman, and Ma Hongyun continually comforted her in a soft voice. Even though he felt no hope himself, it's over. Fang Yuan shot out like lightning, stepping on twigs and branches as he entered the innermost layer of the treeman encirclement. But just when he was about to execute the finishing blow, as he was charging, Mo Yao shouted in his head, This aura. Wait, stop quickly. What is it? Fang Yuan's momentum was lost. He stopped at a high area on a tree as he asked in suspicion. Ever since Mo Yao's will entered his head, he had never felt such intense emotions from her before. At this moment, Mo Yao showed herself in Fang Yuan's mind. She had tears all over her face as her slim body was shivering. She was muttering, This aura. This aura. There's no mistake. There's absolutely no mistake. This is the aura of fortune rivaling heaven goo. Fortune rivaling heaven goo. Fang Yuan's heart jumped, as he immediately recalled Mo Yao had researched deeply about 88 True Yang building in her lifetime, taking a huge risk to enter the True Inheritance secluded domain for her lover Bo Qing. Her original motive was to obtain the supreme True Inheritance of Luck Path. She wanted to steal the fortune rivaling heaven goo in it, but in the end, she only succeeded partially. As she spent a lot of effort and exerted all her strength, she was able to create a crack in the Luck Path True Inheritance. However, fortune rivaling heaven goo flew into this crack and vanished into thin air. But Mo Yao did not return empty-handed. She obtained a portion of the Luck Path Inheritance's details. Combined with her Refinement Path Grandmaster Foundation, she eventually refined Calamity Beckoning Goo. But Calamity Beckoning Goo was inferior to fortune rivaling heaven goo. Mo Yao used it to help Bo Qing with his tribulation, and in the end, both of them died. Eventually, Fang Yuan found Mo Yao's inheritance and refined Calamity Beckoning Goo once again, accepting Mo Yao's request to return the Rank 7 Goo House Water Pavilion to Spirit Affinity House. Now, Mo Yao felt the aura of fortune rivaling heaven goo. This was a crucial immortal goo that she had failed to obtain after spending her entire life and putting in immeasurable effort. It was understandable that she had become so agitated and emotional. Fortune rivaling heaven goo's aura is on this lad. I can't believe it. Mo Yao, spent my entire life and nearly died in the secluded domain, but eventually the fortune rivaling heaven goo escaped, and this mortal lad got it by chance. Is this life? Mo Yao raised her head and sighed, as she laughed and cried. Her tone was extremely dejected. Fang Yuan squinted, his eyes glowing with cold light. He asked in his heart, That means fortune rivaling heaven goo is currently on Ma Hongyun? Can you confirm that? Of course. I can never forget the aura of fortune rivaling heaven goo. Mo Yao replied unhesitatingly. She continued and said, Fortune rivaling heaven goo is a one-time expenditure rank 8 goo. It is formless and ethereal, being in essence a lump of luck. It is extremely difficult to capture with ordinary methods. Back then, my main body could not capture it. Thus it managed to fly away from the scene and vanish without a trace. Even True Yang building could not trap it. It must have escaped to northern plains, roaming until it landed on that lad. So it is a one-time expenditure goo. Fang Yuan was extremely disappointed. Fortune rivaling heaven goo was the greatest treasure in Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Luck Path Inheritance. It had extremely great value. Fang Yuan was unable to gain benefits in the true inheritance secluded domain, but if he could take fortune rivaling Heaven Gu away from Ma Hongyun, that would be the best. But unfortunately, fortune rivaling heaven could only be used once before it vanished. Fang Yuan, you have to be careful. Fortune rivaling Heaven Gu is extremely special. Back then, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had fortuitous encounters endlessly. Time after time, he would turn disasters into blessings. He unceasingly had great luck, and he relied on this Gu to a great extent. Ma Hongyun is affected by fortune rivaling Heaven Gu. He is a true child of luck. His luck could be said to be ranked at number 1 in the 5 regions. The luck that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had back then would very possibly be replicated in him. Although luck is formless and ethereal, it is a part of strength and cannot be underestimated. Mo Yao quickly said anxiously, I know what to do. Fang Yuan held in his killing intent, his expression turning cold as he stopped on the tree branch. Not attacking abruptly, he looked down from above, at Ma Hongyun and others, allowing the tree men below him to attack. Actually, the two were not too far from each other, but even Frost Jade Peacock did not discover him. This showed how weak the land spirit was right now. It was obvious at one glance that the two sides had great difference in strength. It seemed that victory was in sight, and killing Ma Hongyun was extremely easy. But Fang Yuan did not think so. He was once a Gu immortal. His vision surpassed mortals that he understood. These so-called paths, wisdom path, refinement path, metal path, time path, and others, they looked like they were combinations of complex series of Gu worms gathered together, but in actuality, they were the deciphering of one's understanding towards heaven and earth, towards the mysteries of the universe. Luck path was the same, based on Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's example. One could see that luck path, even compared to other paths, could more deeply explain the mysteries of heaven and earth in some aspect. Fang Yuan had never looked down on Ma Hongyun. He had always been vigilant towards him, because his previous life's memories made him understand how high Ma Hongyun's future achievements would be in his previous life. Ma Hongyun became the pillar of northern plains, the leader that resisted the attack of central continent Gu immortals. When Fang Yuan was killed by the barrage of Gu immortals, he was still growing and developing. Fang Yuan knew about Ma Hongyun's growth, and now he finally understood the origin of Ma Hongyun's heaven-defying luck. That was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's greatest achievement in luck path, fortune rivaling Heaven Gu. And the cause of all this was Mo Yao, who was residing in his mind. Luck did not have any physical form, and it could not be touched, but Fang Yuan knew the ability of this mystical power. No wonder Giant Suns will purposely chose He Lu Lan and Ma Hongyun as the people to become the land spirit's master. He Lu Lan is the strongest person among his bloodline descendants, while Ma Hongyun had fortune rivaling Heaven Gu. Fang Yuan felt that this situation was troublesome. Although Ma Hongyun was a tiny rank 3 Gu master, he had the power of a rank 8 immortal Gu protecting him. A rank 8 immortal Gu, only inferior to rank 9, such as the wisdom Gu and strength Gu of legends. It had absurd and unimaginable strength. Anyone who underestimated it would face a pitiful end. Fang Yuan was only a mortal. Back then in the true inheritance secluded domain, he could not even get close to the rank 7 human Chi Gu, not to mention the rank 8 fortune rivaling Heaven Gu. To Ma Hongyun looked harmless, but in all his experiences, when did he ever suffer a true loss? Every time, he benefited from difficulties and had endless fortuitous encounters. All those who wished to harm or kill him faced a terrible end. Although every time he did not personally take action, but there would always be an external force or accident, along with a series of small coincidences. All of these added together to form a shocking power. Fang Yuan suddenly thought of Giant Sun's will. Earlier, Giant Sun's will wanted to exterminate Zhao Lianyun, but Ma Hongyun protected her with his life. This was as if Giant Sun's will had become an enemy of Ma Hongyun. Just as Giant Sun's will was about to strike, Fang Yuan appeared, pulling out True Yang building and causing the heavenly tribulation to strike him. Even Giant Sun's will fell prey. Fang Yuan looked at this from another angle and was shocked. I have the glass owner token. I can check the situation inside the entire 88 True Yang building. Why did I not strike earlier? Actually, it was completely unintentional. Or maybe, I heard that Zhao Lianyun was an otherworldly demon and wanted to protect her. I was curious and wanted to investigate this. Fang Yuan recalled the scene. Giant Sun's Wills was expelled from True Yang Building. He could be said to be the culprit. But the timing was too coincidental. It allowed Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun to escape death. If I suddenly attack Ma Hongyun, would I be like Giant Sun's will? Will an outside force intervene, or will an accident occur? Fang Yuan grabbed his glass owner token, considering his plans again. Wait. Fang Yuan thought about it again. What I've heard on this matter was only Mo Yao's statement. It seems to be credible, but what if she lied to me due to some special reason? Fang Yuan suddenly thought of this. Thus, he asked Mo Yao in his heart. Strange. Earlier when I used luck inspection goo, I observed the luck of everyone in the sacred palace. If Ma Hongyun had the fortune rivaling heaven goo, why did I not discover it? I could only see that the two with the highest luck were He Lu Lan and Tai Bai Yun Shang. Mo Yao seemed to have predicted this question. She immediately answered. What's so strange about this? Fortune rivaling heaven goo is a rank 8 immortal goo. Your luck inspection goo is only a rank 5 mortal goo, an investigative goo that can allow a goo master to see luck despite its formlessness. How can a rank 5 investigative goo discover the luck created by a rank 8 immortal goo? If I cannot see it, how can I be sure that Ma Hongyun has fortune rivaling heaven goo's influence on him? Fang Yuan did not relent. He continued asking, Oh Fang Yuan, you are too suspicious. Mo Yao sighed, immediately answering, There is a method to make sure. That is to use investigative goo and check your own luck. Every time you act against the child of luck, because of the mutual influence between luck, your luck will become bad, or even worse. If you do not believe me, you can check it that way. Time was limited. Fang Yuan immediately used luck inspection goo. His vision changed abruptly. Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun's luck were rather tiny. They were the same as ordinary people. Meanwhile, there was a massive black luck, almost 300 meters tall, high enough to pierce heaven and earth. Chapter 618. Great Strength True Martial Physique. This black luck aura was so dark that it reached the point of being extremely oppressive. The coffin-shaped aura was tightly covering Fang Yuan. Since an unknown time ago, the black aura on Fang Yuan had become much larger and much deeper. Far away, Tai Bai Yunxing and He Lu Lan were engaged in an intense battle. The luck aura of the two were exceptionally clear. Above He Lu Lan was still the azure luck aura that gave a lasting feeling like a towering tree. The luck on Tai Bai Yunxing, however, was smaller than before, not even 1/6 of the original amount. It was no longer the bright burning red cloud. Instead, it was the shade of heavy evening mist that almost looked like a dark cloud. Fang Yuan moved his sight back to above him and started testing like Mo Yao said. Just like Mo Yao said, whenever he thought of attacking Ma Hongyun, the black coffin luck on him enlarged a little and its dark shade seemed to become even gloomier. Fang Yuan, you should leave this troubled place as quickly as possible. The black coffin luck on you right now is too dense and too frightening. Your life is under great threat now. Don't underestimate luck just because it is ethereal. Just think of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's unrivaled powers. You are deep in danger right now. The black coffin luck has not worked its magic yet, but the karma will hit you eventually. It is only that the time is not ripe yet. Mo Yao continued to persuade Fang Yuan, but Fang Yuan coldly snorted and replied with a resolute will. Asking me to retreat? Being scared off by merely bad luck? Hee, how could that be possible? He narrowed his eyes, his lips slightly curled up, revealing his snow-white teeth as he looked down from the cover of the treetop. No matter how bad the luck becomes, it cannot attack me directly. It will need to rely on external influences to kill me. Right now, at this moment, at this place, I want to see who can obstruct me. Killing intent surged and bubbled in Fang Yuan's heart. He believed in the power of luck path, but he believed in himself even more. He needed to kill Ma Hongyun. He had to try. If Fang Yuan cowered just because of luck, would it conform to his style? Ordinary people would feel regret after facing the consequences, but Fang Yuan would not feel any. Have you gone crazy? That is a rank 8 immortal goo. Mo Yao screamed when she felt the dense killing intent in Fang Yuan. Precisely because the enemy is this strong, the battle would be even more interesting, wouldn't it? Fang Yuan instead laughed freely. Right now, he no longer had short hair of Chang Shanin. but had long black hair that fluttered freely with the wind, and his countenance revealed a crazed recklessness. He was never against bullying the weak, but even more than that, he had the bravery to fight the strong. How could one obtain a tiger cub without entering the tiger's den? If he did not stake it all at this moment, then when should he? Fate teases the turbulent sea, cowardly insects avoid waves and flow along the current. A brave man does not need much wisdom. There is not regret or pain even if his body crumbles. Fang Yuan mumbled before restraining his crazed mood, his expression turning tranquil. Lunatic, you have gone mad. Mo Yo continued to mutter. Right now, Fang Yuan's killing intent had accumulated to the peak. The black coffin luck aura above him subsequently inflated, expanding by 3 times within moments. Let me see who will save you. Fortune rivaling heaven goo, let me look at your might. Fang Yuan made a motion to attack. Bom. An explosion occurred. The majestic wind current it created formed into a strong gale that pressed on from a distance. He Lulan was standing unstably, while Tai Bai Yunxing got up from the crater. Fresh blood flowing from his mouth. He looked at He Lulan, who was floating in the air, shock apparent on his face. You are actually. Before he finished his words, He Lulan charged at him again. Boom. Ground shook and dust surged everywhere. 10 extreme. Physique. Fang Yuan's pupil shrunk as he muttered the answer in place of Tai Bai Yunxing. He had never imagined He Lulan to actually have the 10 extreme physique. And from the looks of it, it was extremely likely to be the great strength true martial physique of the 10 extreme physiques. Several breaths later, a shadow flew out from the dust. It was Tai Bai Yunxing. His hair was a mess, dust covered his face. His chest was caved until it revealed the deathly white bones. Blood sprayed out like a spring, but a green light soon covered his body and the blood flow immediately stopped. The heavy injuries on his body also quickly recovered. Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yunxing had exchanged intel back at Hu Immortal Blessed Land, and he knew Tai Bai Yunxing possessed 2 immortal Gu. Landscape is before Gu and man is before Gu. However, Tai Bai Yunxing was clearly not using the immortal Gu man as before, but instead ordinary healing Gu. Immortal Gu man as before required immortal essence to be activated and had extremely great effects, but it was not easy to gather immortal essence. Thus, unless as a final resort, Gu immortals would not easily use immortal Gu. Tai Bai Yunxing, you are a grand Gu immortal but are afraid of me. Immortal? A roar shook the sky and earth. He Lulan flew to the sky and started hunting down Tai Bai Yunxing. Such an intense 10 extreme aura, terrifying. He Lulan not only has the 10 extreme physique, he is also already on the verge of self-detonation. Fang Yuan was able to decipher many details right now. Back then at Qingmao Mountain, Fang Yuan had relied on Bai Ningbing's northern dark eye soul physique to cross realms and fight a strong enemy and overturn the situation. Bai Ningbing was only rank 3 back then. As the 10 extreme physique's cultivation increased, the power of their self-detonation would increase sharply by many times. The self-detonation of the rank 5 peak stage He Lulan would be beyond compare. So terrifying that even killing Gu immortals would not be a problem. Tai Bai Yunxing had a bitter expression on his face, with not even the slightest battle intent. Previously, He Lulan's 10 extreme physique was sealed by immortal Gu dark limit, not leaking out even a trace of its aura. Now that he had torn off the seal, his majestic aura would cause terror to emerge in one's heart. He was now a large human-shaped bomb. Who would dare to approach him? What if he exploded? Tai Bai Yunxing had just advanced to a Gu immortal. Wouldn't it be injustice if he was killed by the desperate He Lulan in his impending death? I had never thought He Lulan would actually have great strength true martial physique of the 10 extreme physiques. And he has actually managed to grow to this extent. Tai Bai Yunxing fled with astonishing speed. He was a flying master, and his cloud path Gu was also one of the better movement Gu. He Lulan was hunting him down from behind, but could only look helplessly as the distance between them increased further and further. Rumble. He Lulan was furious, suddenly throwing a punch. This punch had terrifying momentum as it directly broke the sound barrier and burst the surrounding air. Following this punch, a fistchi suddenly flew out, forming into a strength path phantom figure. Fang Yuan had also attacked with many beast strength phantoms back in southern border, but the phantom that He Lulan summoned was not beast-shaped. Instead, it was human-shaped. And this human strength phantom was a vivid image of He Lulan. The obese body like that of a bear, the jagged snow-white teeth that were like daggers, a pair of triangular eyes which flashed with malevolent glint. It was truly a second He Lulan. Even if I combine all the beast strength phantoms I used back at southern border, they might not be the human strength phantoms match. Fang Yuan's eyelids twitched. He had extraordinary judgmental ability and immediately saw the extremely high battle strength that this human strength phantom possessed. It was full of spirituality. Once it was summoned, it could chase the enemy of its own will. This was the strength of rank 5 peak stage great strength true martial physique. Simply terrifying. But how powerful this strength was, Fang Yuan could not estimate it easily, unless he personally went to battle and experienced it for himself. But he was sure this terrifying battle strength had already surpassed mortal realm. It could even be said that He Lu Lan was currently at a state that was half a step to Gua mortal realm. 10 Extreme physique originally broke apart conventions. They were existences that could shatter opponents at the same realm. Back at Qingmao Mountain, Fang Yuan used the 10 Extreme physique to survive an ordeal. But this time, the 10 Extreme physique was his enemy. If not for the fact that Gu Masters obtain a qualitative improvement in their body's defense when they advance to Gu Immortal, Tai Bai Yunxing would be in greater danger. Tai Bai Yunxing had advanced to Gu Immortal just now. He has yet to accumulate the foundation of a Gu Immortal. Moreover, he is a healing Gu Master, but has to face against this tyrannical and battle-thirsty enemy like He Lu Lan. For a moment, thoughts shone in Fang Yuan's mind like sparks. The strongest advantage of a Gu Immortal over mortals lies in their unlimited primeval essence. But He Lu Lan's main cultivation path is Strength Path, which relies on primeval essence the least among all paths and has the lowest primeval essence consumption. This advantage is thus almost non-existent. There is also He Lu Lan's killer move. It actually went in an innovative new direction, creating such a sentient human strength phantom. In just a short period, he has already created 5 to 6 human strength phantoms. These phantoms are anything but ordinary, filled with spirituality. They actually flanked and blocked Tai Bai Yunxing's retreat paths. This is truly unimaginable. Unleashing human-shaped phantoms was not a surprising thing. The crucial point was that he could create such intelligent human-shaped phantoms. Moreover, all of these human-shaped phantoms had astonishing strength. The might of their strength and wisdom made even Fang Yuan feel apprehensive. No wonder He Lu Lan died suddenly in my previous life. So it was because he had the 10 Extreme physique. Fang Yuan suddenly realized. Although he had rebirthed, it did not mean he knew everything. Right now, this unexpected twist disrupted his plans. Damn it. Fang Yuan subconsciously tightened his grip on the Glass Owner token, according to his original plan. He would have gone with Giant Sun's will's train of thoughts, using false emotion fake Wagu to subdue the land spirit and become Imperial Court blessed land's owner. He needed to subdue false emotion fake Wagu first to accomplish this. However, false emotion fake Wagu was one of the ordinary true inheritances, and it contained a portion of Giant Sun's will in it. How could a mere mortal like Fang Yuan refine an immortal venerable's will? Only Gu immortals will had such a possibility. Thereupon, Fang Yuan used his eloquence to dupe Tai Bai Yunxing in to become his ally. It was to make use of his will to refine false emotion fake Gu. But when he returned to True Yang Building, the situation had already changed beyond his expectations. Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyan obtained Frost Jade Peacock's recognition, becoming Imperial Court blessed lands owners. Frost Jade Peacock's condition for recognizing its masters was a Gu master couple who had to have true love for each other. Ma Hong Yun was a rank 3 Gu master. But Zhao Lianyan was still a young girl and had not begun her cultivation journey yet. However, she was still recognized as a master. This showed the condition of Gu master was only speaking of aptitude. As long as the person had the possibility of becoming a Gu master, they could receive recognition. In Fang Yuan's previous life, Zhao Lianyan was a wisdom path Gu immortal. She naturally had strong cultivation aptitude. These small details were not worthy bickering over. In Fang Yuan's opinion, what he needed to do were 2 things. First was seizing false emotion fake Gu. It was on He Lu Lan, and Fang Yuan had given this task to Tai Bai Yunxing. Second was killing Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyan. As long as he killed them, Imperial Court blessed land would return to an ownerless state. After completely these 2 matters, Tai Bai Yunxing could help Fang Yuan to refine false emotion fake Gu and take control of the land spirit. Even if Giant Sun's will returns then, Fang Yuan had the capital to contend against him. However, right now, none of these 2 goals were achieved. Chapter 619, The Might of Overwhelming Fortune. He Lu Lan revealed his true trump card, displaying he had one of the 10 extreme physiques and was close to self-detonation. It had shocking battle strength, with him managing to suppress the Gu immortal Tai Bai Yunxing, and he was chasing after him. This was quite a shock, but after some consideration, it was nothing strange. If he doesn't defeat He Lu Lan, he would not get false emotion fake will gu. Without false emotion fake will gu, how will I subdue the land spirit? Damn it. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth. His plan was ruined. Is this the power of fortune rivaling heaven? The moment I wanted to strike, such an accident occurred. Fang Yuan took a look at Ma Hongyun, his expression turning grim. For some reason, the killing intent in his heart intensified. He crossed his arms, standing high up in the tree as his mouth showed a cold smile. It is getting more interesting. Fortune rivaling heaven. Humph. Now that He Lu Lan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng are fighting, if I really want to kill you, what can you do to resist me? This time, Fang Yuan did not go personally, but instead manipulated the tree men. The tree men at the most inner layer raised their hammer-like fists highly in the air. Under Fang Yuan's manipulation, they slammed down at the same time. Bam! With a loud bang, Frost Jade Peacock cried out pitifully as its raised head fell onto the ground. The defensive barrier that it had erected with all its effort was smashed. It turned into golden dust as it quickly vanished into nothingness. Even the last obstacle was removed. The closest treeman took a huge step forward. It stretched out its huge arm as it rapidly grabbed at Ma and Zhao. Zhao Yin shouted shrilly, while Ma Hongyun held her in his arms, his back facing the treeman's palm. Die. Fang Yuan muttered, completely ignoring the black coffin luck above his head that was rapidly growing. The treeman's palm was towering over Ma and Zhou. It only needed to squeeze lightly, and Ma and Zhao would turn into meat paste. But at this moment, a huge tremor occurred in 88 True Yang building. The entire place was shaking. Scoundrel, you dare to chase me out. Quickly accept your death. A loud voice could be heard, piercing heaven and earth, and causing Fang Yuan's eardrums to feel slight pain. Hearing this familiar voice, Ma Hongyun raised his head in joy, saying, "It's old ancestor did not die. He is back again." He Lu Lan expressed joy similarly on his face. Tai Bai Yun Sheng's expression was pale. If Giant Suns will return, 88 True Yang building would display the might of a rank 8 immortal Gu house. It could definitely trap a Gu immortal. This was no joke. How can this be? Even though I spent some time inside Hu immortal blessed land, but 15 minutes was far from over. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk to the size of a pin. He was very stunned. He quickly used the glass owner token and checked the situation. Outside 88 True Yang building, there were layers and layers of golden sand-like light particles. That was the colossal Giant Suns. Well, he was still growling furiously as he resisted the assault of the heavenly tribulation and earthly calamity. He constantly exerted pressure and attempted to barge into 88 True Yang building. The Giant Suns will. That is outside did not come in. Then who is this Giant Suns will here? Where did he come from? Fang Yuan was very perplexed. But this Giant Suns will that just appeared did not want to give him time to think. Heaven and earth shook. Those which were running, those which were helping Tai Bai Yun Sheng, those which were standing in place, those which were trapping Ma Hongyun. All the tree men stopped their actions, standing still like statues. Fang Yuan's face was red. The glass owner token in his hand was hot like fire. Cracks started appearing on the owner token. In just a moment, the glass owner token was on the brink of collapsing. Damn it. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth. This mysterious Giant Suns will was getting rid of the Central Continent Gu Immortals arrangements rapidly. The third arrangement that Central Continent Gu Immortals made was extremely hidden. It was not easy for Giant Suns will to find it. But right now, Fang Yuan had completely unleashed it. There was no way to hide it. This mysterious Giant Suns will found it easily. Once the glass owner token breaks, the third arrangement would lose effect, and the Giant Suns will outside would be free to enter and exit True Yang building. By that time, even if Giant Suns will did not use 88 True Yang building, he could easily kill Fang Yuan using his own ability. An unprecedented danger had descended upon Fang Yuan. Don't tell me I need to use Spring-Autumn Cicada? No. The risk of using Spring-Autumn Cicada is too high. I am not at that stage yet. I have to persevere. I can still go on. Fang Yuan growled angrily. He sent his will into the glass owner token. Bam. The next moment, through the glass owner token, his will clashed with the Giant Suns will that had appeared out of nowhere. Ugh. Fang Yuan's body shuddered. He spurted out a mouthful of blood as the will he injected was completely obliterated. His head hurt intensely, like it was going to break apart. His mind suffered a huge blow, as Mo Yao's will screamed continually. Fang Yuan's body shook. He felt dizzy and could not stand. After enduring for a few breaths, he fell from the tall tree branch. Swoosh. Wind blew, as the three closest treemen suddenly stretched out their tree vine hands, grabbing at Fang Yuan with ill intent. Fang Yuan lost the contest. Giant Sunswill had regained control of this round. Thus, the treemen also became Fang Yuan's enemies. They would not rest until they killed Fang Yuan. Because of this sudden event, Ma and Zhou escaped death. Under the influence of their will to live, they started escaping blindly among the chaotic tree roots to the moment of danger. Fang Yuan was barely able to regain awareness that he shouted lightly, injecting his primeval essence into his goo worms, mustering his strength and punching and kicking the large tree hand that was coming for him. Bam, bam, bam. After 3 explosive sounds, the fists were shattered as Fang Yuan adjusted his balance in the air, landing hastily. The aftermath of competing against Giant Sunswill remained. His ears were buzzing and his hearing was nearly completely gone. But Fang Yuan had no regret that in fact, he opened his mouth, laughing loudly. Excellent. The earlier clash of wills was not elegant in the least, but it not only allowed Fang Yuan to keep his glass owner token, he even found out the truth about Giant Sunswill. This newly appeared and mysterious will was not as powerful as expected. He did not expect Fang Yuan to make such a choice either. This will was split into 3. The largest portion of it was dealing with the third arrangement. A small portion was busy fighting for the control rights of this round, while the last portion was victorious in the contest against Fang Yuan through the glass owner token. In the end, Fang Yuan's injected will exterminated the victorious Giant Sun's will, and combined with the third arrangement, although his will was wiped out, he successfully caused harm to that large portion of Giant Sun's will. Thus, Giant Sun's will was only left with a small portion that was controlling this round. Giant Sun's will fell into extreme anger. He did not expect this tiny mortal to have the guts to challenge his will directly. He did not expect that this mortal had stored so many wills in his mind either. This was all thanks to Mo Yao. Honestly, in order to deal with Mo Yao, Fang Yuan stored large amounts of wills in his mind as a backup. He had special will, play will, deliberate will, keep will, heart will, and others. He had a variety of many wills. Giant Sun's will greatly underestimated Fang Yuan's capacity, and as he was anxious to save the situation, he was counterattacked by Fang Yuan, and in the end, was caught off guard and suffered a great loss. Scoundrel, I will decimate your corpse. Giant Sun's will was angered to his boiling point. He continued to manipulate the treemen to attack. Fang Yuan dodged left and right, using all his effort to heal his injuries. These treemen had thick skin and flesh. Even if their branches, arms, and legs were broken, they would not die. They had very strong vitality. It was not a good idea to fight them head-on. While he dodged, Fang Yuan's injuries recovered rapidly. He quickly realized that the treemen were not only attacking him, but also Tai Bai Yun Sheng and even Ma Hong Yun. More accurately, they were attacking Zhao Lian Yun, who was beside Ma Hong Yun. Ma and Zhao escaped under the pursuit of the treemen. They were in a dangerous situation. They frantically escaped without a goal, but they actually got near to Fang Yuan. Please save us. Ma Hong Yun finally saw Fang Yuan, shouting loudly for help. So naive. Fang Yuan laughed sinisterly, immediately going closer to him. As the two sides got closer, Fang Yuan shouted loudly. Giant Sun's will is trying to kill you. We have a common enemy. Come here. Be careful. Zhao Lian Yun, who was running, showed hesitation and worry, but the current situation was, only Fang Yuan could protect them. They were unable to hold on much longer. That if they stayed, they would definitely get killed by the treemen. If they went to Fang Yuan, they at least had a chance of survival. Save. Of course we'll save them. Quickly save them. In his mind, Mo Yao's will suddenly shouted. What? Fang Yuan thought he heard wrongly. Mo Yao spoke quickly. Do you still not understand? Giant Sun's will is a huge special will. He knows the power of fortune rivaling heaven goo. His intention is not to deal with Ma Hong Yun. But when he was first formed, his main body had placed a rule on him. That was to exterminate any otherworldly demon he sees. She's an otherworldly demon. Don't tell me you are not interested. But the most important thing is, if you save that Zhao Lianyun, it will be the best weapon against Giant Sun's will. Since Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun are truly in love, they will definitely be enemies with Giant Sun's will. By then, Giant Sun's will would be dealt with using the power of fortune rivaling heaven Gu. Mo Yao's words were very moving. At once, the hidden killing intent that he had towards Ma Hongyun shrunk. Wait, Ma and Zhao are in grave danger now. They might get squashed or trampled by the tree men at any moment. If I appear now, wouldn't I be saving them? Fang Yuan suddenly thought of this, becoming stunned. Although Ma Hongyun was rank 3, he was too hard to kill. The first time Fang Yuan's killing intent appeared, He Lulan showed his trump card. He unleashed his extreme physique and chased after Tai by Yun Sheng. The second time he had killing intent, Giant Sun's will came out of nowhere and gravely injured Fang Yuan. And now, his ears were buzzing and his mind was weakened by at least 30%. Even though he protected the glass owner token and caused harm to Giant Sun's will, he lost control over this round. Now, Fang Yuan had his third wave of killing intent, and Mo Yao was the one who stopped him. But the problem was, she made perfect sense. Even Fang Yuan himself was convinced. The reason Fang Yuan wanted to kill Ma Hongyun earlier was to change the land spirit's ownership. But now that He Lulan showed his true battle strength and protected the false emotion fake Will Gu, thus Fang Yuan did not have it. What use was there in killing the two? Don't tell me that this third time, the one stopping me is actually myself. As he was struck by reality, Fang Yuan was tongue-tied. Chapter 620, Stopped by himself? Fang Yuan truly experienced the might of fortune rivaling heaven Gu now. This was a form of helplessness, like being played by destiny, where one would not know whether to laugh or cry, and the more they struggled, the deeper they would fall into despair. Forced by the situation and in order to avoid calamity, it seemed Fang Yuan could only choose to maximize his benefits. The distance between the two sides rapidly shortened. To save them, or not to save them. Mo Yao repeatedly screamed in Fang Yuan's mind. Save them. Reason also told Fang Yuan that saving Ma Hongyun would make him stand on the same side as fortune rivaling heaven, and he could borrow its strength to deal with Giant Sun's will. However, there was a voice in Fang Yuan's heart. This voice growled, shouted and roared. Save. Am I going to surrender? Am I going to lower my head? I can kill him with one slap. What am I afraid of? Afraid of these two trash? Even fortune rivaling heaven cannot obstruct me. Fang Yuan's ears were buzzing nonstop, but this voice kept on getting louder, gradually suppressing every other sound. He felt bursts of intense headaches. He felt his mouth go dry in front of these choices. That voice in his heart, however, was getting louder and clearer till his heart started to tremor. Every howl, every roar, every shout seemed to throw a bundle of firewood into the fury in Fang Yuan's heart. The burning flames surged. That was the fire of ambition, his fighting spirit, his unyielding, obstinate spirit of challenging the strong. The flames soared. Fang Yuan's eyes turned bloodshot. His blood boiled and surged like the surging waves. Come, let me send you off personally. Fang Yuan spoke, his voice hoarse like sand gritting on iron. He did what he would normally not do, going against his style of prioritizing benefits, with a malevolent expression and eyes shining with sharp killing intent. He smashed apart the giant treemen in front of him, tearing the countless twisting and coiling vines. He reached Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. Then, he lifted his fist. Before his punch even struck out, the terrifying fist aura already condensed into solid. The brutal killing intent almost solidified even the air. Ma Hongyun's eyes opened wide, never having expected Fang Yuan to have such resolute killing intent. He turned pale with fright, and in his panic, he unexpectedly stumbled and fell to the ground. Ouch. Zhao Lianyun had been holding hands with Ma Hongyun, and was thus also pulled down to the ground. This unforeseen event shocked Fang Yuan. He was already extremely vigilant because of the repeated accidents. But he soon found that this small accident only prolonged the time he struck them by a little. At the same time, two giant tree men also reached Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun. No matter which treeman it was, it would only need 1 foot to crush these two to pieces. But Giant Sun's will truly did not want to harm Ma Hongyun, and could only mobilize vines to scuttle to Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyun, to separate them, and then kill Zhao Lianyun. 5 treemen suddenly pierced out of the ground at this moment and coincidentally blocked Fang Yuan's way. This strong defense required Fang Yuan to waste at least a dozen breath of time. Giant Sunswell was using his previous tactics again. At present, the extremely weak land spirit was already booted from the playing field. False emotion fake Will Gu was safe as it was being protected by Heilu Lan. Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun might have become the owners of the blessed land, but as long as Zhao Lianyun was killed, this connection would be cancelled. At that time, it would not be too late to salvage the situation by using false emotion fake Will Gu to make Heilu Lan and Ma Hong Yun the owners of Imperial Court blessed land. Thus, Giant Sunswell was obstructing Fang Yuan from killing Ma Hong Yun. Damn it. This kind of feeling again. Always at the crucial place and at the crucial time. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth and used all his strength to forcibly break through the defensive line. Thud, thud, thud. Thunder-like collisions occurred one after another. Fang Yuan was like a tiger let loose, his fierce offense directly breaking the treeman's defense. The whole process only lasted less than 10 breaths. However, Fang Yuan also had to pay a heavy price. 3 enormous wounds were added to Fang Yuan's body. One ran through his chest, another pierced his back, and another formed a bloody hole on his stomach with the size of a baby's fist. His right forearm was severely fractured. His left leg was twisted grotesquely to the side. Ha ha ha. Fang Yuan, however, howled with laughter. He could not use his hand and leg for a while, but he still had movement goo. He could still fly. He rapidly chased after Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun through the air. Ma Hong Yun hunched over, protecting Zhao Lianyun tightly under him. Vines were coiling around them from outside. These vines wanted to separate the two without harming Ma Hong Yun. Ma Hong Yun faced off against the vines. But naturally, he was weaker and looked on as he and Zhao Lianyun were forcibly separated. He bit his lips and glared with furious eyes, but he was powerless. No. He roared with bloodshot eyes. Despair and pain filled him as he saw his lover about to die in front of him, appearing like a beast forced into a corner. Save him quickly. Now is the best time to save him. As long as you save them, Ma Hong Yun will definitely feel grateful to you. You can then borrow the strength of his fortune that rivals heaven. Just think, why is Giant Sunswell not killing Ma Hong Yun? It is to use his luck. Mo Yao shouted again, persuading Fang Yuan. /update by You really speak a lot of nonsense. Fang Yuan replied with ruthless coldness. Success was in front of him, but he instead calmed down. He had no expression on his face, not even the previous malevolent look. Die. When Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun was in his range, Fang Yuan immediately struck out with a fatal attack. This attack had earth-shattering power, bursting all the air in front of it. The incomparably violent power was like an evil dragon rising to heaven, as it shrouded over Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun. No. This time, it was Giant Sunswell who let out a helpless and desperate shout. He immediately mobilized the surrounding treemen to use their own bodies to protect Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun. The tree vines no longer separated the two. Instead, they attempted to rapidly evacuate them. But Giant Sunswell was still feeling dejected. He knew all these would be of no use. This strike filled with Fang Yuan's pin-up wrath. How could it be so easily blocked and avoided? The treemen's trunks were smashed apart. The vines also did not have enough time to evacuate Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun. In the end, the attack that still had its peak offensive power was about to directly smash them into pieces. Even though there were countless treemen filling the vast forest, it was all too late. Fang Yuan was resolute, erupting with all his strength to break through the defensive line and succeeded in grabbing the crucial moment. The treemen's movement was slow, and they were not good at providing swift reinforcement. Ma Hong Yun was definitely dead meat at this moment. Not only Fang Yuan, even Giant Sunswell also thought this so. Not only did they think so, even Ma Hong Yun and Zhao Lianyun did not have any hope of surviving the attack. Any factors that could influence the situation had seemingly already played their part. Heilu Lan, Tai Bai Yunsheng, 88 True Young Building, Giant Sunswell, Frost Jade Peacock, Fang Yuan, Mo Yao, all these people or things had shown all their strength by this point. Time seemed to slow down. Fang Yuan's lips curled up to reveal a smile. Now, is there anything left that can save Ma Hong Yun? However, at the next moment, rumble, a loud sound rang out, causing huge tremors and making countless trees creak. Dazzling golden rays of light shone over the whole round. As Giant Sunswell entered True Young Building, Fang Yuan turned grave, but soon discovered that was not the case. Giant Sunswell was still taking a beating outside the building. Central Continent's Gu immortals had planned for countless years to create the third method. It could never be underestimated. If not for this, Central Continent's Gu immortals would not have been able to overthrow 88 True Young building and return victorious in Fang Yuan's previous life. The enormous golden light lump moved like a meteor, and before the sound even registered in one's ears, it crashed onto the ground, instantly destroying the surrounding tree min and protecting Ma Hongyun and Zhao Lianyan within it. Isn't this that luck path supreme true inheritance? Mo Ye was so shocked she involuntarily screamed out, "What's going on? Shouldn't this supreme true inheritance be in true inheritance secluded domain? How did it suddenly crash into this round and throw itself towards Ma Hongyun's body?" With no choice, Fang Yuan could only stop his footsteps. He had already experienced the might of a supreme true inheritance in true inheritance secluded domain. This was not something he could touch. But why? Ma Hongyun is covered by this light. But why has nothing happened to him? For a moment, Fang Yuan could not help but feel extremely dejected. He had used all his strength in his third attempt to kill Ma Hongyun. He had even seen hope a moment ago. The success had seemingly been right in front of him. But he still failed in the end. Why did the supreme true inheritance move to Ma Hongyun? Impossible. This is impossible. Mo Yao completely lost self-control as she scratched at her head, causing her long hair to become messy, resembling a crazed woman. This was not surprising. She had suffered untold hardships, expended all her energy and effort, but was only able to open a crack in the luck path true inheritance from which fortune rivaling Heaven Gu escaped. Finally, she had no choice but to refine Calamity Beckoning Gu. But this Calamity Beckoning Gu was not able to assist her husband, Bo Qing, causing her and Bo Qing to perish. But at this moment, she was watching this luck path supreme true inheritance throwing itself at a rank 3 mortal. Even if you had fortune that rivaled heaven, isn't this going overboard? Why was it not me? I put in so much effort, paid such a huge price. Why was it not me? Why was it this mere mortal, a fool, a kid? It is a comparison that could make one die from anger. Fang Yuan forcibly calmed down and tried hard to remove the unneeded emotions. Reflecting on this event, a bright flash of inspiration seemed to roam around in his mind, but was extremely hard to get a grasp on. I understand. Suddenly, Fang Yuan's body shook as he grasped this flash of inspiration and understood this seemingly impossible event. This supreme true inheritance recognized Ma Hongyun and not others as its master of its own accord. This was because Ma Hongyun had the power of fortune rivaling Heaven Gu on him. Fortune rivaling Heaven Gu was the true essence of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck path, the quintessential crystallization of luck path. To the supreme true inheritance, it was the leader and the emperor. But why did the supreme true inheritance not come earlier or later, but chose this exact moment? Luck path supreme true inheritance was located in true inheritance secluded domain. How could it come here for no rhyme or reason? These two questions actually pointed to the same factor, Giant Sun's will.